Back in 1953, American academic Charles Hapgood released a paper proposing something extraordinary. A thriving civilization may have existed on Earth long before humans ever appeared. At the time, the idea sounded completely absurd. Yet, oddly enough, parts of his work were later marked as classified by the CIA. Now, if his claims were total nonsense, why would intelligence agencies feel the need to conceal them? Were they concerned that the wild theories might actually be accurate? Consider this. Earth is over 4.5 billion years old, and Homo sapiens only showed up around 300,000 years ago. Is it really so far-fetched to think intelligent life may have existed long before us? Recent findings are starting to challenge our assumptions in profound ways. In this video, we'll explore everything from the surprising intelligence of dinosaurs to how fungi could survive nuclear fallout, and most intriguingly, the possibility of a lost civilization predating humanity by millions of years. So, before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more mind-bending discoveries and forgotten histories like this. Now, let's get into it. History, as we know it, is full of vague explanations. One of the greatest mysteries is how ancient structures like pyramids were actually built. Mainstream scholars maintain that ancient societies were still quite primitive, yet someone managed to construct these awe-inspiring monuments. Take a look. Here's the Chichen Itza Pyramid in Mexico, the tomb of Pharaoh Djoser in Egypt, and the Kokor Sanctuary in Cambodia. Strangely, despite being built in vastly different places and times, they follow strikingly similar architectural principles. Their stone blocks are so precisely cut and fitted that even a hair can't pass between them, and they were built without mortar. Similar walls can be found near Cusco in Peru, in parts of Greece and Japan, and even on Easter Island. All continents apart, could a single, highly advanced civilization have built or influenced all of them? Of course, such a theory sounds speculative, but how can we expect to find ancient civilizations if we're not even looking? This is a question posed by Jason Wright, a respected astronomer from Penn State University. Some ancient feats still baffle experts, like the urban design of the Indus Valley civilization. In 1829, explorer Charles Masson discovered the ruins of Harappa in modern-day Pakistan. What he found was astonishing: a city with streets precisely aligned along the cardinal directions, featuring remarkably advanced infrastructure. Why such exact planning? Archaeologists believe the answer lies in its sophisticated water systems. Many homes even had private bathing pools sealed with resin to keep them watertight, something that would be incredibly difficult without specialized knowledge or tools. The builders appeared to possess skills in ironworking far ahead of their time. Incredibly, evidence supporting this idea surfaced elsewhere. In 1936, archaeologists digging near Saqqara, Egypt, uncovered enormous granite boxes known as serapeums. Egyptologists say these date back to the 18th dynasty, between 1550 and 1300 BC, a period when Egyptians supposedly lacked metal tools capable of such precision. Yet these stone boxes have flawless right angles and walls so smooth and thin they resemble machine work. Some even bear strange marks, grooves very similar to those made by modern drills. Where have we seen this before? Could these marks indicate the use of advanced machinery? Perhaps a forgotten culture once influenced Egyptian development with tools far beyond their time. Still, this leaves a major question. Why haven't we uncovered more substantial evidence of this mysterious civilization? Astrophysicist Adam Frank and climate scientist Gavin Schmidt tried to answer that in 2017. They speculated what traces our modern civilization would leave behind if we suddenly vanished. Their conclusion? Not much. Towering cities might remain for a while, overgrown with vegetation, but after a few thousand years, only scattered stone ruins would be left. If another civilization existed before us, its remnants could easily have been missed. Despite countless archaeological digs, we haven't found prehistoric skyscrapers. But does that really prove they never existed? According to Frank and Schmidt, even our most iconic structures may disappear in just 10,000 years. What would be left? Likely just a few massive stones, offering little insight into our achievements. That's the harsh truth of archaeology. Over time, all evidence fades. Even the Neanderthals who lived not so long ago in evolutionary terms left behind surprisingly little. But what if a civilization existed long before them? You're probably thinking, wouldn't we at least find plastic? Plastic takes far longer to break down than organic material. So if an advanced civilization once thrived before us, wouldn't they have left behind synthetic waste? Interestingly, author Alan Weisman, in The World Without Us, suggests that if humanity stopped all activity today, much of our plastic pollution would still degrade naturally, through sunlight and microbes, within about 20,000 years. And if that earlier civilization had been wiped out by a catastrophic event, the disappearance of its remains would have happened even faster. Some survivors might have relocated and shared their knowledge with emerging cultures. That could explain how civilizations like ancient Egypt and the Indus Valley reached such impressive heights. But here's another issue. Currently, less than 3% of Earth's surface is inhabited. It's entirely possible that a prior society occupied even less land. So, even if they produced something like plastic, finding any remnants today would be about as likely as locating a single grain of sand in a desert. So, let's imagine a society that existed a billion years ago. Would any proof of their existence still remain? And why do we assume those ancient life forms would even resemble us? Back when Earth was still forming, the climate was hostile, riddled with meteor strikes, thick atmospheres of methane, ammonia, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. No known life form today could have survived those conditions. But maybe they weren't a threat. Maybe they were exactly what some life forms needed. Max Bernstein, director at NASA's Science Mission Directorate, suggests that life during that time might not have looked like us at all. It could have been made of self-aware crystals. Such life might not even follow the biological systems we recognize. Reproduction? Metabolism? Not necessary. All life really needs is to collect energy and pass on information. But how it achieves that could differ radically. Under those criteria, perhaps minerals developed self-organizing structures billions of years ago. Crystals grow by adding atoms in a precise sequence. When a piece breaks off, it retains the original pattern, much like biological reproduction. And such a civilization could vanish without leaving a single trace behind. So should we abandon the search? Or is there still a chance to uncover evidence of these mysterious ancestors? Can a civilization truly vanish without leaving anything behind? According to Frank and Schmidt, we might be looking in the wrong place. Physical objects may degrade. But what about environmental effects? Even if ancient machines and cities are long gone, they might have altered Earth's geology. The researchers argue that any industrial civilization, no matter how ancient, would have needed energy. And before clean technologies can be created, some form of fuel is always needed to kickstart progress. So they suggest ancient societies may have burned fossil fuels, coal, oil, or even massive amounts of wood to power their early industries. These processes would have left chemical footprints in the geological record. Instead of searching for ruins, perhaps we should be searching for pollution. In forensic terms, it's like looking for fingerprints instead of the weapon. That means examining unusual clusters of radioactive materials in places they shouldn't naturally appear. Strangely enough, this brings us back to the Indus Valley. During digs in Rajasthan, northwest India, archaeologists uncovered a layer of radioactive ash buried in the earth. And in 1977, researcher David Davenport led excavations at Mohenjo-Daro, an important Indus city. There, they found a large circular depression about 50 meters wide. The stones inside had been melted into a glass-like substance, an event only possible under extreme temperatures of 1500 degrees Celsius or more. It seemed to resemble the aftermath of a nuclear explosion, thousands of years ago. Astonishingly, ancient texts seemed to support this. The Mahabharata, one of India's most important epics, describes a blinding explosion brighter than 10,000 suns, capable of annihilating entire populations. It even details the consequences: people losing hair and nails, contaminated food and water. The parallels to Hiroshima's nuclear aftermath are uncanny. So even if the Indus people did harness nuclear power 5,000 years ago, they were still human. But what about civilizations that came before humans? Oddly enough, Earth's history shows patterns that hint at intelligent interference. Today, we are experiencing global warming due to industrial emissions. But about 56 million years ago, the planet underwent a similar rapid temperature spike. Temperatures near the poles soared to 20 degrees, while industrial activity couldn't have caused it back then. What did? Scientists currently blame cyanobacteria, tiny blue-green algae that suddenly multiplied in the oceans, but the exact mechanism behind their climate impact remains unclear. Were they natural, or the side effect of a much more complex civilization? The idea of crystal-based societies still feels too abstract for most scientists, yet even they admit it's possible that Earth was once ruled by organisms unlike anything we know. Could we be underestimating the intelligence of creatures we see every day? In 2000, Japanese biologist Toshiyuki Nakagaki conducted an unusual experiment. He placed a piece of mold at the start of a mouse maze, with sugar at the exit. Within hours, the mold extended its tendrils through the maze, testing each turn. When it reached dead ends, it backtracked. Eventually, it found the sugar. The mold displayed problem-solving skills, sometimes even better than animals. Scientists estimate there are roughly 160,000 types of fungi on Earth. These life forms have evolved for millions of years, surviving extreme conditions, and now they can adapt their surroundings much like human technologies do. In Chernobyl, for example, researchers found a type of fungus thriving in radioactive zones. Not only does it feed on radiation, it also helps clean the area. We think of ourselves as the peak of evolution, but can any of us purify our environment just by existing? In fact, a group of Yale students exploring the Amazon discovered a fungus that consumes plastic. In the lab, it ate through its own container. If a civilization of intelligent fungi existed millions of years ago, what would it look like? What we call a mushroom is just the surface. The real mystery lies underground, in the vast mycelial networks. A single teaspoon of soil can contain over 8 kilometers of fungal threads. The mushrooms we see are just spore-producing tips. The rest operates like an underground web. And here's the incredible part. Mycelium doesn't just move nutrients and chemicals. It appears to share information, like a decentralized brain or even the internet. There's no central hub. Each thread works on its own while still communicating across the entire system. The similarity to the structure of the internet is uncanny. It turns out that an incredibly advanced communication system has been beneath our feet this whole time. In ancient eras, this vast mycelial network might not only have played a role in supporting other life forms like cyanobacteria, but could also have hidden its own traces. If intelligent fungi had once created materials like plastic, or even developed radioactive weaponry, they could have simply broken it all down themselves. In other words, perhaps we can't find evidence of these civilizations because they were too good at cleaning up after themselves. But who says Earth has only hosted one civilization in its entire history? Maybe new societies emerge every few tens of thousands of years, and now and then, a few puzzling clues manage to slip through. Back in 1970, an episode of the iconic TV show Doctor Who introduced a fictional species called the Silurians, humanoid reptiles said to be the first intelligent life forms on Earth. While originally meant as pure science fiction, the idea has since gained some unexpected scientific backing. Sure, we've uncovered massive fossilized bones of dinosaurs, but how much do we really know about their behavior? For decades, paleontologists believed dinosaurs were little more than oversized, dim-witted beasts. I mean, the brain of a stegosaurus, based on fossil evidence, was roughly the size of a walnut. But recent discoveries are challenging that perception. In 2021, paleontologist Diego Paul demonstrated that many dinosaurs were far smarter than we'd assumed. Take the Myosaurus, for example. These creatures return to the same nesting grounds each year, showing memory, planning, and environmental awareness. Even more impressively, they may have practiced a division of labor. Males guarded the nests and females, while younger members of the group scouted the surroundings for food. That's not primitive behavior. It shows social coordination and cognitive complexity far beyond what we'd expect from walnut-sized brains. After reviewing similar findings, researcher Lori Marino concluded that many dinosaurs were more like clever birds than lumbering reptiles. Think about it. Have you ever seen a parrot or crow distract a person while another bird steals food? Birds are incredibly smart, and while their brains are small relative to body size, partly to allow for flight, they pack an incredible number of neurons into that small space. In fact, birds often have more neural connections per gram of brain than mammals do. So just because a dinosaur's brain was small doesn't mean it wasn't capable of complex thought. After all, humans have relatively similar brain structures to our ancient ancestors, but that hasn't stopped us from building satellites and exploring space. So why are we so quick to dismiss the intelligence of dinosaurs? Take the Troodon, for instance, a small species that scientists believe was among the smartest of all dinosaurs. Some even theorize they may have domesticated other species, much like how humans farm livestock. If that's true, they might have developed a level of agricultural society. Even more curious is how Troodon's physical features bear a strange resemblance to our own. Could they have been the real-world counterparts to the fictional Silurians, an ancient, intelligent race that thrived long before humans? What if they built a civilization, left no trace, and vanished, while we inherited the Earth? What do you think? If this theory sparked your curiosity, give this video a like, share it with someone who loves ancient mysteries, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that challenges everything we thought we knew about history.